Welcome in, college football fans. We're finishing up week 2 here. Saturday night, we're going to have some games closing out here. We've got Texas, Alabama, 34-24. Texas is kneeing this thing out. They're about to win the game in Tuscaloosa. And we've got Oregon lining up for a 29-yard field goal attempt to take a 1-point lead with 1:14. Snap, kick, timeout. They'd ice the kicker. Woo, Mason, what you think, man?
Man, it's been quite a week. I think that all the hype headed into week 2 has it's really lived up to it. And it looks like it was a delay of game. I don't know if you're ahead of me on this one. 34-yard attempt.
Oh, it was a delay of game. It was.
Yeah.
So now
So Oregon takes a 1-point lead now. 1:10 left on the clock.
You're a little ahead of me, I guess.
Okay. But yeah, so awesome week. Hell of a week. I mean, my gosh. The Alabama and Texas game is still going on, but it's over at this point. And so we'll get to that in a minute, but kind of starting out, we've covered a few of these so far. If you haven't listened to our halftime reports, I'll invite you to go do that. But it was really just an outstanding week of football. And I don't even know where to start, honestly. We could start with UNC and App State, a freaking nail biter. I didn't get to watch the end of this game. I was watching.
We kind of called that too, didn't we?
Yeah. I think a few times I've mentioned at least that Mac Brown just has a real hard time beating App State. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But they lost to him last year and took two levels of overtime to beat them this year. Heck of a game, man. And App State, tends to show insane. Up. I thought after week 1 against South Carolina that maybe UNC's defense has a pulse, but apparently not. They, gave up.
No, South Carolina's offensive line is just that bad.
Yeah, that's what it was. Honestly,
I think that's kind of what we're gathering at this point. So yeah. Texas Tech getting ready to take the ball. It was a touchback, down 1 point with about a minute to go. Tyler Shook has been really, really good in this game, minus a couple of plays. But, I mean, this dude has thrown the ball 34 times and ran the ball 23 times, dude. I mean, holy crap. And, we didn't even talk about this storyline earlier this week, but Tyler Shook was a quarterback at Oregon. That's where he transferred from, So a lot of layers to the story. Bo Nix comes in and takes his job. Oh, a completed pass up the sideline, right to about midfield. Minute 02 left. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got a close one here, but
they're driving.
This has been one of the better games of the day, in my opinion. I mean, Alabama and Texas was a good game, and we're going to get into that one, obviously. And honestly, Colorado and Nebraska, that was a good game for the first half. And, Nebraska just kept handing the damn ball over to them, man. But I feel like the fans kind of got cheated on that one because that would have been a good game if they just wouldn't have turned the ball over, 4 times?
Holy cow. Oregon just picked 6.
Oh, I'm about to watch it right now. Hit the quarterback as he threw. Pick 6.
Man.
Number 2. Holy cow.
That is crazy. So I literally just went into my notes, into my week 1 best bets, and put an X beside Oregon covering the 6 points, and now they're up.
Yeah, buddy.
Crazy.
Yeah, you just hit one of your best bets of the week right there on the last second. I did the same thing today, and we're going to get into that. I did it with a kick from a field goal kick from a team that was up and tried to kick a 56-yarder. Very rare to clear a bet like that. But well, congratulations on that one there, buddy. That was pretty clutch right there.
And
For the
the one
Oregon
mistake
Ducks.
that
And
Tyler, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say it was uh, uh, a clutch moment for the Oregon Ducks and the Mason Ducks.
Man, Tyler Shook's
38 to 30.
one mistake cost him the game. I mean,
Yeah,
he played his freaking heart out. He's going to be a
yeah,
hell of a quarterback. Honestly, I really like
yeah.
what I
He
saw
is.
from him this game.
Yeah,
All
he
right,
is,
so
man. He's he's been a good player already this year. And in the Wyoming game, they leaned on him really hard. And honestly, the only reason they were even in that Wyoming game last week was because of him.
yeah,
Um, but man, these fans with the hands on top of their head and oh, I've been there, brother. I have been there and done that.
yeah.
And you were in the stadium too that day, just on the other side of the stadium. But we were in there whenever um, Tennessee threw the Hail Mary. What was that, 2016? Um,
Yep, the
and,
Dobnail
and
boot.
the Dobnail boot. Oh my God! Uh, don't don't give it that kind of uh, ground to stand on. Holy
Hey,
crap!
that was the best
Jawan
loss I've
Jennings.
ever been to.
Yeah, yeah, I know it.
Yeah,
That was insane. That place went from 100 to 0 real quick. It
yeah.
as reverse Drake would say. Um, all right, well, let's go over some of this stuff. We got so much to unpack here, and as Texas Tech, oh my gosh, dude runs into his own player on the kickoff return, trying to get a big return. Oh Lord. Um, So what was it? Was it Thursday night that we got Louisville, Murray State, 56 nothing, nothing to talk about there. Kansas and Illinois. I did want to kind of touch on this one. Um, Kansas and Illinois. Kansas looking pretty damn good, huh? And I
Oh
think
yeah.
we talked about this one. Did we talk about this one a little bit? Maybe we caught it
Um,
on our best bet show. That's probably what it was.
there
Um,
was some point where we did because I remember talking about how much momentum it seems like Kansas has with the unveiling of the new stadium, and we were up in the air about whether or not Daniels would play. Come to
yeah,
find out, he did play, and he played really freaking well. Um,
yeah,
gosh, they look good on offense and defense. I mean, what a turnaround in the past 2 years for Kansas so far.
yeah.
Um,
They let Luke Altmaier and Illinois claw back just a little bit in that game. I think they were up like 34-7,
yeah,
and then gave up a couple of late touchdowns there um, to put away the Fighting Illini. So really good win from last year's Big Ten West winner. Oh, that's a personal foul, man, dude. What is Oregon doing? Did you just see that?
no, I already
Freaking
changed it.
Oh my gosh, dude, what are they doing? Tyler Shook is running down the middle of the field, slides. Oregon player comes in, hits him late, personal
Oh my
foul,
gosh.
and he's already at midfield. And so,
How
I
much
mean,
time's left?
there's 16 seconds left, so there's time for a couple of plays here. Um,
They better not give up a touchdown.
my goodness gracious, man, I am telling you what, this game, you just can't put a stake through the heart of this game. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on. And I also want to say too, we got Auburn and Cal that just kicked off not long ago. There's 13 minutes left in the first. Cal has got the ball, 2nd and 10. Wanted to keep an eye on this game. This was my money line sprinkle, I guess you as the cover three guys would say. Um, I actually went back after our best bet show and I bet every single bet that I bet on the show. I've actually put actual money on it, and not a ton, but I wanted to put my money where my mouth was. And as we go through it tonight, I'd like to kind of figure out how we did. I know I had one push, and I know I had a loss. Um, but anyway, we'll kind of talk through the Auburn and Cal. I'm not going to go play by play on it. But I've also got Oklahoma State and Arizona State up right here, and then there's 13:07 in the first quarter. So both of those just got going. Um,
I'm on Washington State and Wisconsin.
oh my
Just
gosh, Tyler Shook
keeping an
just
eye on it.
completed a pass all the way down to the 30. There's 8 seconds left, all the way to the 30. All right,
Watch them kick a field goal just to.
we're just gonna have to hold tight on this for okay. Texas Tech takes their final time out of the game. 8 seconds left, 1st and 10, about Oregon's 30-yard line. That was about a 35-yard completion over the middle of the field. Um, my goodness. Okay, whenever this one comes back from timeout, we'll go through that. But anyway, Kansas, Illinois. Kansas takes out Illinois 34-23. Good win for Kansas Jayhawks right there. We got Stanford at USC. That's going on right now. It's still 0-0 in that one. At Oh my goodness, at midnight we've got Hawaii playing. We're not going to worry about that one. And I told you about the other two that are on right now. Georgia State beats UConn 35-14. We talked on that one a little bit whenever we did predictions. And
Yeah, I had a money line on that for UConn. That
Georgia
one did
State's
not go in my
good,
favor.
man. They're
Yeah.
good, and I know they're good because I'm starting to see a lot of their players that transfer out do things at big schools. So
Um, it looks like Shook just threw an interception in the end zone. Kind of went
yep,
for a Hail Mary there. So
sure did.
38-30, that is a final.
38-30. That's how you close out a bet right there. Um,
So that puts me at 4-2 on the week with I was 1 for 3 on my money lines. So
okay, gotcha.
not too shabby.
Gotcha. I won't know about my money line sprinkle today, but I will next time we get on the show. But all the rest of them I should know. I really haven't added them up yet. I really don't know. So I
Yeah.
will. I'll kind of do that as we go. I took pictures of each of ours, and actually, well, I didn't just take pictures. I put it on my computer on a file, so we've got all of our picks saved. Um, Moving on through the scores, I'm going to just go through some of these, and we'll stop on the good ones. Idaho beats Nevada 33-6. Memphis over Arkansas State 37-3. God, Arkansas State is just horrible. That must be one of the worst teams in football. North Texas loses to FIU 46-39. Western Kentucky beats Houston Christian 52-22. Old Dominion beats Louisiana 38-31. Cincinnati beats Pitt 27-21.
Big
Uh,
win.
that's Emory Jones right there, isn't it?
Yes, it
That's
is.
that's Emory Jones.
Putting
Uh,
up a solid 27. But hey,
Pitt's got a
got it
good
done.
defense though. Pitt's got
Yeah.
a good defense.
Yeah, they do.
They play complementary football almost to a non-complimentary fault. Like they almost like overdo it. Um, Oklahoma. All right, so here's one of my first bets. I had Oklahoma minus 16, and I think I cleared that one
Yeah.
just
About
by
1 point.
one punto. See, I knew what I was doing. Um, I thought Oklahoma would score more than 28. I really did, but I knew that they wouldn't give up more than 14, so I felt good about it. Um, Ended up cashing in on that one. Let's kind of just look at this recap for just a second. I want to see some stats, and we'll kind of go through. Um, let's see. Let's add.
Hey, check your mic there, Mark. I can't hear you. What is going on here?
Somehow everything just got muted. I'm sorry about that. Let's keep it going, guys. Um, so Florida hosted McNeese State 49-7. They ended up taking care of business there. Minnesota over Eastern Michigan 25-6. Air Force over Sam Houston 13-3. And we'll wait on Mason to get back to dive into these two games right here. UCF squeaks one out against Boise State. Hey, welcome back, man. I don't know what happened, but
Yeah, I lost audio there. I don't know if you could hear me.
Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you on my end, but I don't know if.
Here we go. Soundboard had come unplugged and it had muted my mic. So sorry
okay.
about that,
All right.
folks. But I just went through a couple of the less important games there. So let's get into the Oregon Texas Tech game, man. I'm going to pull up the box score right here, and let's kind of take a look at this. Bo Nix ended up 31 of 43, 356 yards. Man, that's a nice game. 2 touchdowns, 0 picks. Tyler Shook was 24 of 38, 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. We know that one of those interceptions was just a one that he chunked at the end zone, at the end there. But Shook also had 23 rushing attempts for 101 yards and a touchdown. Brooks with 6 catches, 66 yards. Bo Nix ran for 46 yards as well as throwing for 359. So he accounts for over 400 yards for the day. And Bucky Irving had a pretty good day, rushing and receiving. He had 7 receptions on 8 targets. What did you think about Oregon and Texas Tech? I felt like Texas Tech definitely played like a team with their back against the wall, and they had that damn stadium whipped into a frenzy, brother.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you go back to our best bets, obviously I felt pretty good about Oregon. I thought they'd win by, 10 or 14, honestly. I think that Texas Tech had a true home field advantage, and you saw that. And you saw a team, like you said, who had their backs against the wall and just kind of played to their strengths and played behind their quarterback, who is just phenomenal, I think. And I think he's only going to get better. He still doesn't have that many games under his belt at the college level. So I'm excited to see what he's able to do. And really, I mean, in this game, it just seemed like Oregon was just not able to get it done on defense. I think there were some frustrating plays on the defensive side of the ball, giving up 30. I know, Lanning will be going back to the drawing board with some of that stuff, but ultimately they found a little magic there late and able to pull it out. But pretty sloppy game, I think, for the Ducks. This is a team that is in that sort of playoff discussion for most people, and I think that they've got some stuff to work on for sure. And for Texas Tech, I think that they just bounced back and they really showed me that they're not a bad team. Right, this was the Texas Tech team that I thought they were going into the season. I didn't see that last week, so I was pretty excited to see them, come back a little bit. I still maybe think that I was a little bit too high on them. This was a back and forth game. It wasn't exactly a clean game on either side. So,
Yeah.
but it was nice to see them take a step forward from last week and know that they're not going to be at the bottom of the pack in the Big 12 or anything like that. They should still be a contender. But they got to turn it around and get a win. We're still looking for their first win of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. One pretty cool moment in this collection of cool moments, because this was an awesome game to watch, very entertaining. Uh, Bo Nix completes a pass to his adopted brother Tez Johnson for a touchdown. He had 4 receptions, 37 yards, and a touchdown. And that guy, he's got world class speed, man. He's a um, real fast player. They say the fastest guy on the team. So, cool moment there, I'm sure, for the Knicks family, and congratulations to Oregon on a good win. As we say often enough, whoever wins the fourth quarter a lot of times is going to win these big time matchups. And Oregon outscored Texas Tech 20-3 in the fourth quarter, and that's the true sign of a good team, in my opinion. You may have rough patches, you may not have your A game. What are you going to do in the closing quarter of the game to close it out and win? And Oregon showed a will to win today, and I think this was a big hurdle for them, and this will do a lot for their confidence, because they went into a hostile environment and came away with a 38-30 win, beat the spread, and it's got to feel good to get a win like this. They're gonna feel it tomorrow. This was a pretty hard hitting game, but with all that being said, Oregon's got momentum now, man, and if they didn't already have it, uh, and I think this win is going to go a long way for this team. Let's keep it moving. Let's see here. How do I go back without going all the
By
way
the way, it
out?
looked like Mississippi State is now going to overtime.
Oh
If I
wow,
saw that
with
correctly.
Arizona.
I'm trying to get ESPN
I
to
don't
act
even see
right,
that
but
one on here. ESPN hasn't been acting right all day. I don't know what's going on.
yeah,
Um,
it's literally
well,
crashing on me
Missouri,
right now.
Missouri, yeah, it's been struggling today, man. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm on CBS website right now. Um, Missouri and Middle Tennessee. Missouri has disappointed the ever living crap out of
Yeah,
me and beat Middle Tennessee 23-19. Um, that
pathetic.
that's that's pathetic. That's absolutely absurd. Missouri, who? That's just ridiculous. First of all, that defense is way too damn good to give up 19 points to Middle Tennessee. And furthermore, what are all these weapons doing at Missouri anyway? I see why people are transferring out, man. 23 points against Middle Tennessee is absolutely absurd. We got to see. We got to check this out, because if this is Cook playing like ass, then I am totally off this train here. No, he didn't play that bad.
Yeah,
He only completed 14 passes though,
mm,
but only 353 total yards. I mean, it's just pathetic, man. 141 rushing yards as a team. Alabama, I don't know what they ran for on them. It had to at least been 200, if not 250 last week. Um, and by the way, just to give an update, um, Cal has kicked a field goal and they're up 3-0, and they just missed another field goal that they would have gone up 6-0. Um,
bro, I'm watching
so
this Washington State Wisconsin game. This guy just got leveled. First of all, Washington's up 9 points. Washington State is.
they're up what now?
Um,
You skipped out for a second.
they're up 9 points right now, and they look much more physical than Wisconsin, which is surprising.
Well, let me get that game on because I want to watch too. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's minutes and 21 seconds left in the game on that one.
what? Nothing's acting correct. I don't understand. None of my electronics are cooperating. It's starting to scare me. I think they're plotting against me. Um,
One of those days.
AI's about AI's
Yep.
about to take over my house. Um, yeah, so I'm officially off the Missouri train. That's a bunch of horse crap. Um,
Dude, the
that's just pitiful
entire
and
SEC
also absurd.
looked like crap.
Yeah, I'm honestly about sick of it. Uh, it's been bad so far this year. It's been really bad, and I feel like every time I reload this page, I feel like it's shuffling the games. Like, is that possible? Texas at Alabama. Let's talk about the big dog for a minute here. Um, we were texting throughout this game, and it was honestly, I think this game went a lot like you and I expected, right? I mean, we both picked
Pretty
Texas
much.
to cover, and we talked about all summer that we didn't feel like Alabama had a quarterback, which they don't. They have a running back that has a good arm that plays quarterback. That's what they have right now. And I don't, you can say what you want to say, but that guy's a running back. He is not no quarterback, man. He's not a
Yeah.
he's a good thrower of the ball, but he is not a blessed passer. Um,
Yeah, and
and
two, I don't know if you noticed this, but Tommy Reese was dialing up some absolute awesome plays.
yeah, he
I
was.
thought that he had a great game plan, and there were guys open.
Well,
They just couldn't
Milrow
get him
was
the ball.
bailing out. Milrow was just
Yeah.
absolutely bailing out. He
Well,
wasn't even getting to his first read on some of this stuff, man.
well, and a lot of that too is the Alabama offensive line. There was, and we talked about that this game would be won in the trenches, and we thought it was a pretty good matchup between the Alabama offensive line and the Texas front seven. The Texas front seven absolutely whooped their ass. I mean, it wasn't even close to me. I
Yeah.
thought that they were way too disruptive in the backfield for an Alabama team. So and for them
Well,
to be the best offensive line in the country, not on pass rush, and they didn't really get a push on the Russian side of the ball either. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I thought that that's where they really lost it, and then it was causing Milrow to have to get out of the pocket or get he was hit on his blind side quite a bit actually.
Well,
But
after he got
yeah,
hit a couple times, dude, he was seeing ghosts out there. I
yep,
mean, and he was literally going 3 or 5 step drop, stopping for just a second and going. I
yeah,
mean, and it was like he's not even. That's why Tommy Reese was talking to him on the phone during the game and had his head in hand, like, you know, what the hell are we doing here, man? You know, Eh, he's not even getting through his progressions. So
yeah,
I know that that's frustrating for Alabama fans, especially considering the long line of quarterback lineage that's gone on. Basically since what 2020, there's been like 3 or 4 um, first rounders to come out,
yeah.
or like one every year. So it's I know it's frustrating, but this is exactly what we thought Alabama would be, man. We thought that they were a run first team with a good defense, and they do have a good defense. Let me go ahead and just throw that out there. Caleb Downs is like really talented at stopping the run. Man, he flies in there like a missile, and
And,
he hits really hard too.
yeah, him and Arnold. Arnold's really good on the run. He made some mistakes in the passing defense,
Yeah.
but his coverage needs some work. But he's fast enough that I think he'll get there. But he was very physical on the run and made some good plays. That's why it was weird to see. We talked about the missed tackles earlier, and man, it was kind of weird to see him just kind of throw a shoulder in and not wrap up. He's usually a lot more technically sound, but Texas wasn't perfect. I thought that they really did everything they could to give Alabama this game, and we talked about it before we went on air. But I feel like Texas or Alabama just couldn't take it away. They didn't want it. It seemed like as much as they tried, Alabama said,
They're
"No,
not
you
they're
have it."
not closers no more, dude. They just don't close them
Yeah,
out no more. It's different than it
and
used to be.
all the drops. I think I counted 6 drops that Texas had. 2 of them were from Worthy, and they
Yeah,
weren't all perfect balls, but good gosh, if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it. I mean, you take that, you take those 6 drops, and I mean, Ewers, ended up with a really, really good game, from a passing completion standpoint, and with 349 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, and actually, he would have had 5 touchdowns had those 2 touchdowns not been dropped, because they ended up kicking field goals on both of those drives. So, this
yeah,
game really could have been out of hand pretty early. That you're talking
yeah,
about an 8-point swing. It'd been 42-24. That would have been really ugly for Alabama fans. But I noticed they really kind of stopped going towards Worthy and started giving AD Mitchell the ball more, and I thought he looked like their best receiver tonight.
yeah. Well, I think Alabama is actually pretty lucky, in my opinion. I think this game could have been a lot worse. Uh, I feel like there was some nerves for Texas early on, and I felt by the end of the game, felt like they kind of developed more of a confidence that they'll probably take with them, as long as they can still fit their heads through doorways. I think they're going to be in
Yeah,
pretty good shape for the rest of the season. One of the stats that really locked this game down was third down conversion rate, and while Texas wasn't like great, they they were 7 of 18, and Alabama was 5 of 14. But Texas outgained them 454 to 362 and ran 75 plays to Alabama 62. So those are, pretty good stats that both teams ran the ball for about 100 yards even. It's going to be tough to run the ball on either one of these teams. You're
yeah,
going to have to you're going to have to be able to throw the ball on these teams to be able to beat them. Any team that's relying on a running attack solely to beat Alabama, I think you're probably going to be mistaken on that. Um, but uh, I did want to show you this: 10 penalties for 90 yards for Alabama.
looked a lot like
So
last year.
looks a lot like last year to me. Um, I Jalen Milroe throws 2 interceptions. We watched him throw 2 interceptions in the spring game. Um, I don't know. Seemed pretty predictable to me. I don't think Alabama's a bad team. I'll go ahead and say that. I'm not. Don't think they're a bad team. I think they're a good team, and that's about it right now.
Yeah,
I think they're uh, probably a pretty close to great defense. I don't think the defensive line is great. I think it's just serviceable, but I think it's a great secondary. I really do. Um, but the linebacker core is really good too. Um, this offense just isn't doing it for me, man. These running backs, for a team that said they're going to be all physical and run the ball on everybody, I think you're going to have to figure out who's going to run it other than Jalen Milroe, or
yeah,
move Jalen Milroe to running back, I guess, because he's a running back. He's a running back throwing anyway.
yeah,
So I don't know, something needs to change there. I don't think this is a good fit in this offense, and I think that Alabama is probably in line for another loss this year too if they continue to play this way. Um, and on the
yeah,
other hand of that, Texas ought to be in good shape now.
yeah. I mean, Alabama lost to the Big 12 champion, in my opinion. So,
Right.
it's not the end of the world. Like, you've got a down year at quarterback. By the way, we've got a couple of games that just wrapped up. So, Washington State did
Okay.
just beat number 17 Wisconsin, 31-22. That
Yeah.
game just wrapped up. And also, Mississippi State was able to pull it out against Arizona at home in overtime. Um, and Washington State's fans are rushing the stadium or rushing the field. So that's a little bit weird. Um, it's Wisconsin, not Alabama. By the way, did the Texas fans rush the field against Alabama? Did you
Uh,
notice that?
what, today? No, it was in Alabama. I
Oh,
didn't
that's right.
see.
That's right.
Yeah, I didn't see any Texas fans, but um, I mean, they gave them upper decker seats, so I don't think there'd be any way they could get down there. Um,
Oh, they'll
they
find a
stuck
way.
they stuck them in the upper deck up there. Um, So
Yeah, yeah.
anyway,
Well,
yeah, if
I
it
was just thinking before the game, Texas fans better not rush the field. Like you're at the point now, like your expectations are so high this year, you shouldn't be rushing the field if you beat anybody.
yeah,
So, that's
what
not
would
what championship teams do.
what would Georgia have to do for Georgia fans to rush the field? That's what I want to
Bro,
know.
I have no freaking idea. I mean, it would have to be just
Win
the
beat the
craziest
Kansas
game.
City Chiefs at home? I don't know.
Right?
I
I mean, it would have to be like they're down 35 to nothing. They're down 35 points, whatever, in the fourth quarter, and they come back and win. That's the only
yeah,
way I could see it
yeah,
against Alabama, and it's a triple overtime game. Like that's the
right.
only thing that would put my feet on the turf at least. So,
I just feel like
um,
nobody would do it. Nobody would dare mess up those hedges, And it was a great whoever the gardener is that set that up, man, just absolutely brilliant. He's like,
yeah,
yeah,
it's like
hey,
a
respect the
moat
hedge.
around the stadium. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it's like a fan force field. It's like a Georgia fan force field. They won't touch it.
yeah.
Um, they will not touch it. I remember
No, a lot of
Tennessee people rushing the field on that Hail Mary when we were there, and there was a ton of people pissed off about the hedges being messed up, like fighting mad about it. Um,
yeah.
so
There's a lot of
yeah,
dads who are Georgia fans and their out balances, and they cannot stand to see the shrubbery get dismantled. So that's really all that is.
respect respect the horticulture, please. Um, Look, we pretty much talked on the Oregon Texas Tech. So again, Oregon wins 38-30. Texas Tech obviously wasn't ranked, so this was not a ranked win today. Texas Tech lost their ranking when they lost last week. Um, let's go on. Memphis
They
beats.
might
Oh,
they
I
might
already
be
talked
ranked by
about
the
that
end of the
one.
year though. That may look like a better win by the end of the
They
year if
m-
they're able to turn it around. They've got a tough schedule though.
they do, and they really needed that win against Wyoming. I'm
Yeah.
I whenever they lost that game, it I don't know, gave me the impression maybe they're about to not meet expectations this year because they
Yeah.
really needed that win to
I-
be able to get it done, man.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that they still have Oklahoma and Texas for the rest of the year.
Ye-
So I'm pretty sure they've got
Yeah,
Oklahoma too. I remember them having one of the tougher schedules.
yeah, they got a tough one for sure, and um, they start off 0-2, not the start the Texas Tech Red Raiders fans were looking for. That's for sure not what they were looking for in Lubbock. Um, Duke takes care of business against Lafayette today, 42-7. Akron over Morgan State, 24-21. North Carolina App State. We touched on this one just a bit. North Carolina ends up pulling it out, 40-34. So is this a game that you watched pretty intently? Because I did not.
Which game was that?
The North Carolina App State. I know we touched on it,
Um,
but I just
I
wanted to
watched
kind
it
of
early. I didn't get to see the end of it though.
okay.
I was down to one TV by the end of the night, and so I had that on the Alabama game. But but yeah,
Gotcha.
I didn't get to see it, so I don't have too much to talk about it other than the score of it, and you just never really know. The score's not always that telling.
Well, for for Heisman Watch purposes, just because everybody says he's part of the Heisman Watch, but it seems to me like he's having a bit of a sophomore slump. Drake May, 21 of 30, 208 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Um, this guy though, Omarion Hampton,
Shoo!
man, 26 rushes, 234 yards, and three touchdowns. Holy Moses! I mean, that's impressive. That's very
Yeah,
impressive.
yeah. I don't care who you're
Drake
playing.
Drake May did run for a touchdown. He had 11 rushes. That's going to include sacks as well. I don't know how many of those there were, but 57 yards. He is he's a good runner, good athlete overall. Um, and they scattered the ball around a little bit. Jones, Pace Hour, your Blackwell, your regular guys receiving the ball there. Um, 208 passing yards is not miraculous. 319 rushing yards is awesome, but they gave up 219 rushing yards, man, to App State. And I thought we were past this with North Carolina, but they give up basically 500 yards to App State. And we know App State's not like a bad team or nothing, but giving up 50% on third down is just not going to cut it, man. And a lot of they gave up 10 rushing first downs, 28 first downs total App State had. That's just, it looks like the same from North Carolina. I thought we had turned a
Yeah.
corner. They had all those sacks, and they didn't get any sacks today. 0 sacks for 0 yards lost. Gave up 2 sacks. I don't know, man. North Carolina looking like more of the same to me. Got to get rid of Gene Chizik, man. Honestly, if it continues at this pace for the rest of the year, then you've got to move on. I don't know what you were waiting for. Mac Brown. I don't know how many more years you got left, Bubba. You better make a move. Don't let Gene Chizik cut your defense on the last year. That would be sad and also disappointing. Let's see.
Hey, they've got
here.
Minnesota next week too.
North Carolina does.
They do. Yeah, it might be one to watch. It might be kind of an upset alert type of deal because I think Minnesota's a little bit better. It's in Chapel Hill, but
interesting.
And then they got Pittsburgh after that, so pretty tough slate. They end the year with Duke, Clemson, and NC State. So it's not looking good. I mean, they got to face Miami, who just came off a big win against Texas A&M. So this is I don't think that North Carolina is going to be much of a contender by the end of this gauntlet of a schedule. And it's unfortunate for Drake May, but I think he'll be fine.
Well,
I think he'll land on his feet.
Well, if they have a horrible year this year, I could totally see him transferring to Alabama next year.
Well, he can go into the draft. He's eligible because he's a redshirt sophomore. So this is his third year.
I thought he was a true freshman last year.
No, he was a redshirt. So yeah, he's going out with Caleb Williams. So
gotcha. Well, hell, Caleb Williams' dad is. I don't know if you heard that last week, but they're saying they're not going. So I don't know. I don't know how much truth there is to that. Caleb Williams' dad is a pretty talkative fella, pretty vocal.
Kind of reminds me of the Ball dad, the Mellos or LaMelo and Ball and all them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's saying that they're not going to go in the draft if Arizona is the number 1 pick or whatever. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. He would be absolutely asinine for him not to go and make that money, that life-changing money. Let's talk about the Huskies for just a second. Washington took care of business against Tulsa. Michael Penix, 28 of 38, 409 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick.
Look good.
Heisman watch. I'm just telling you right now, Michael Penix and these wide receivers are sick with it, man. They are absolutely sick with it, and I'm feeling pretty good right now about my Washington pick. I feel good as of right now. I know it probably make me nervous later, but it's looking like a good pick so far as they creep up farther and farther up into the top 10, and will continue to do so this week. Let's skip.
Isn't there just something about him being left-handed that just, I don't know, to me it just rubs me wrong. Like
it looks very weird.
I just don't like a left-handed quarterback. It's just I don't know.
Not very typical, and tough for defenses. Tough for defenses to adapt to. Tough for wide receivers to adapt to. It is funky. It's very funky, but
Just like
Washington
my
is a
eyes. It hurts. It
funky
hurts my
team.
eyes to see it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
My eyes
yeah.
do a little swirly thing whenever it happens, and it spins me out of control. I lose my.
One of my one of my golf partners is left-handed, so um, every time he does something, he's a way better golfer than I am, and every time he messes up, I'm like, dude, it's because you're doing it backwards, you know. And he loves it when I say that. He thinks that's the best. Um, but he kicks my ass
Good
every
dad
time.
humor
So
there.
yeah, I've at least yeah, exactly. Keep it PG. We got the kids out there sometimes. Um, hey, so what did you have on this Marshall, East Carolina? I can't remember. Didn't you have a bet on that? Didn't you have
I
Marshall
did. It
maybe?
was only a 3-point spread, so that was pretty easy pickings for me.
Nice. Okay. Good pick.
Um, the running back that I drafted in my DFS went off. My DFS did not go off, but he at least went off, and he scored 3 touchdowns and had like over 100 yards on the day. So he
Okay.
scored like 36 points or something like that. So
Nice. Well,
pretty
Marshall
solid
gets the
pickup there.
victory.
Pretty good read, but yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a good bet there for sure. Marshall gets the victory 31-13. No sweat involved for Mason on that one. Arkansas takes care of Kent State 28-6. That scares me. That
Yeah.
scares me a little bit. I'm gonna lie. Kent State is ass.
Yeah.
So that one just scares me a little bit. And that was at home. I don't know. But regardless, the Wu Pig Sooie is 2-0. And I know they'll take it. But I got my eye on you, Arkansas. Got my eye on you. All right. Texas A&M at Miami. I didn't get to watch a ton of this game, man. I'm gonna pull up the box score here, and I'm gonna kind of go over some of the stats, and then I'm gonna let you kind of do your thing because I did watch the midway through the third on because there was something to do with the TV being messed up and some of the games starting later, and it backed up ABC and blah blah blah. So I'm gonna go over some of this stuff and let's see what sense we can make out of this because um, I can already see, and I know I'll admit I did peek at this a little bit before we got started, but Connor Wegman, 31 of 53, 53. He threw the ball 53 times, and I did like some of what I saw from Connor Wegman. I'm not gonna lie. Some of what I saw seemed promising, and it seems like he can get better on some of this stuff. Um, but 336 yards, two tutties, two picks. Um, you got Amari Daniels. He ran the ball 18 times, 62 yards. Um, it didn't seem like Texas A&M had much fun trying to run the ball on Miami. Tyler Van Dyke, 21 of 30, 374 yards, and five tutties. Last week looked like he'd never seen a football before. This week it looks like he invented the football. I don't know what's up with that, but first downs, Texas A&M 28, Miami 16. Um, Texas A&M had 7 penalties to Miami's 2. Texas A&M was 8 of 18 on third down. Miami was 3 of 9. Uh, the yards per team were about the same. Texas A&M ran 82 plays. Whoa, 82 plays to Miami's 54. Ran the ball for 97 yards. Miami ran it for 77. What happened?
Yeah, this was a game that from the beginning you could tell it was just going to be um a sloppy defensive game, and actually I thought Texas A&M came out really strong. I think they got out to like a 14 to um well, I guess it wasn't. I guess it was a 17-7 lead. So but and I thought they looked good, but you see on your screen there, if you'll go up just a little bit, 77 rushing yards by Miami and only 97 by Texas A&M. This was an offensive shootout, and towards the end, I mean, Miami obviously was able to pull away, but they were just chunking the ball. Like I swear some of these drives lasted like a minute and 12 seconds, and we're like, there's like 12 minutes left in the second quarter, like there's no reason to be in this hurry up, but it seemed like the game just had that sort of pace. I didn't get to watch a lot of the second half, but I guess some of that, died off just a little bit. This game was going to be freaking 82-85, but it was a very sloppy game on the defensive side of the ball, particularly in the pass defense. I didn't see much coverage going on at all. There were a lot of missed tackles, and Tyler Van Dyke was just a better man, in this game. He absolutely looked like a Heisman contender, and kind of the guy that we really thought he would be his whole career, and just this just never really matriculated. He's got to build on it. He's got to continue to do this, and they got to get to 3-0 next week, and then 4-0. But this was a really strong statement, I think, for Miami. But on the other side of the ball, I mean, for Jimbo Fisher, I think this is the end of him being considered one of the best coaches in college football. He's just not. I don't know why we gave him this much of a leash, honestly. I mean, once again, they're coming up short, against an ACC team that, is trying to find their footing in the ACC. Jimbo, you've been there for what? This is your 4th season now, 5th season maybe. So I guess it's his 4th because I think they started in 2020, right? But anyways, it's just there are no more excuses. He's got all the best players, much better than Miami's. At least from the high school recruiting, they may have, if you adjust for transfers, I guess Miami may have a similarly skilled lineup, but at the end of the day, I mean, Jimbo just has that they haven't established a stronghold in the SEC with the Aggies, and I think this is the end for Jimbo Fisher as a competitive coach. I'm not saying he's going to get fired after this season necessarily, but I'd be pretty upset.
I think there's a good chance. There's
definitely a good chance if they keep on this road. But I don't care if he gets fired or not. Honestly, it's not my team. I don't care. But for my sake, I'm not putting them in a top 25 anymore. Like they're not a top 25 team under Jimbo Fisher.
I just lost money on their stupid asses. So
yeah,
I'm done, buddy.
Yeah, I had them picked too. So I didn't put any money on it, but
I didn't put much, thank God. But just shooting themselves in the foot, man. They had 3 turnovers in this game. A couple of them while they're trying to go in and score. So yeah man. It's more of the same from Texas A&M, and if he doesn't win 8 games this year, dude, then they gotta fire him, right? I mean, you gotta win 8 games with this team. This is ridiculous.
They really need to be winning at least 10 with this team, and I get it's the SEC West,
which is down though. I mean, that's
which
the whole
is down.
point.
Yeah,
this is your chance. This is your. This should be Texas A&M chance. They should be coming out of this game saying, "Look at Alabama, look at LSU. This is we beat LSU last year. It's the same damn team. We beat them last year. So I really hate it for Texas A&M fans. I'm sick and tired of Jimbo Fisher as a college football fan. Garbage product being put on the field week to week to have the talent that they do. This is the most talented Texas A&M team that they've ever had. There's multiple different, however you want to look at it, scientific ratings and shit for this. This is the most talented team that Texas A&M has had, and looks like they're going to squander it, man. And it is really sad to see. And I guess we're just all going to have to sit and watch it. And now I'd really like to be a fly on the wall of that coaching office, because there's going to be There's gonna be fireworks this week, Bubba. Uh, nobody likes to lose, but it's a pressure cooker there at Texas A&M right now for sure. Um, let's keep it moving. Um, Michigan has a run of the mill win against UNLV. Um, kind of just coast to a 35-7 victory there. JJ McCarthy looked really good. I had that one on my multi-view today. I was watching 8 games at a time today, like a sicko. Um, I
Hey,
had 2 TVs with multi-view on each one.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
it was a sight to behold. And I drank beer and sat at my house all day. My wife ended up getting sick this morning.
Mm,
Thank God we didn't try to come to your house. She ended up with strep throat today.
mm.
Baby sick. So it was bad in that sense, but it was good in the sense that there was no chance of going anywhere today other than to the store and to pick up some barbecue. Shout out Fresh Air Barbecue. It's the best in the world. Um, and my favorite also. Let's keep it moving here. Michigan State takes care of the
I was
Richmond.
gonna point out real quick. We had a kind of an honorable mention there with Texas State and UTSA. The spread there was 10 points. We had Texas State pick to cover. Didn't
Ah,
put it in
yes.
our best bets, but I thought that was pretty easy one, and probably should have bet on it. But you know, it is what it is. My plate was full, and I felt like I was being a glutton, so I just let that one slide. But I just wanted to mention that we were right on another one. We missed one
Yeah.
there. Left one on the table.
And let me update a couple of games here. USC and Stanford. USC is up 21-0. Zachariah Branch is about to return a punt for a touchdown. Yes, he did. 20,
Wow.
10, 5 touchdown. Zachariah Branch, 28-0 over Stanford. Um, they might just beat them. They might just beat them 100-30 today.
There's a lot of big scores already happening. I saw LSU is up really big. Um,
Yeah, they beat the crap out of Grambling.
yeah,
Um, it was bad. Georgia scored 31 points in the second quarter against Ball State today. Some explosions happened for sure. And to update also,
oh,
Auburn did score a touchdown, and they are up 7-3 on Cal right now, and looking decent, looking pretty physical.
it was Oregon State was one that I was thinking of. They're up 48-0, and they haven't started the fourth quarter yet. Also, Florida State's up 52-10 at the end of the third. So there's some high scores going on tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Arizona State just caught a touchdown pass. It's now 14 or about to be 14-7 over Oklahoma State. That one is just into the second quarter. Looks like it's going to be a high scoring one there as well. As many as of these late night Pac-12 games are. So stay tuned, and we'll keep this stuff updated. I'm going to try to keep my eyes up a little bit better because I've missed some good plays, and um, everybody's fired up at this time of year. So these late games right here, like Cal and Auburn, that Cal doesn't know if they suck yet. You know, like they
Yeah,
don't know. They think they're good. They think they're good, and Auburn thinks they're good. Um, reality, I don't know if either one of them are good, but uh, I mean, that's the beauty of it. We're about to find out. All right, Michigan State takes care of business against the Richmond Spider-Mans. Um, I don't know what their logo. They had a spider on their helmet. It looked like Spider-Man today.
yeah, I
Um,
saw that.
so um, that was interesting. That's an interesting mascot. I wonder who gets to wear the spider suit.
Right?
Uh, I wonder if it's like a monkey spider or whatever. Um, Ole Miss and Tulane. I watched this one because this was one of my best bets. Um, and I believe it was 7 and a hook. Was it 7.5? I think was the spread. Um,
Sounds about right.
Ole Miss was coming down to the end with a 7-point lead. Um, or no, I think it was a 7-point spread. I think it was seven even.
I think it was 7 and a hook because we were worried about
Was
that
it?
hook. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, well, anyway, coming down with a 7-point lead, end up kicking a 56-yard field goal, and then getting the ball and scoring again right at the end of the game. So that, honestly, Tulane was winning this game for most of the afternoon. Um, Tulane's starting quarterback didn't play, so Kai Horton took his spot, and for all intents and purposes, I mean, he completed only about 40% of his passes, missed some bombs. Not gonna lie, Tulane was probably the better team today. Just to be honest with you, um, they looked all around better. I got away with betting on Ole Miss this time, and I think I'm done. I think I learned my lesson. No way
Yeah,
they
I
should have
didn't.
been able to pull this one out, dude. Um,
Yeah,
I I don't. There's still just something missing here, man. The defense sucks. Um, Tulane, I think, probably has a decent defense, but this offense just relies way too much on Jackson Dart, and I don't think that he is that guy. I just don't think he's that guy. Hey, gotta hand it to him. The man's got the drip going on out there. You know, the one eye black, and he looks like a quarterback that would be on TV, but he just don't play like it to me. 17 to
yeah.
27, 267 yards, two TDs, one interception. Um, Not bad numbers. Uh, but this is right here is what surprises me.
For
89
a
rushing yards,
Lane
man.
Kiffin offense, though, I don't know, man.
Well,
That's pretty low against Tulane.
yeah. Well, and the rushing yards, 89 yards. This team was a rushing team last year. This was,
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, they led the SEC in rushing last year, did they not? Um,
yeah, that sounds about right.
15 or 1600-yard rusher in what's his name, Judkins. Um, Today he had 18 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, Tulane was laying them bruises on people. Uh, they were pretty damn physical. They got some big boys. The green wave ain't no joke. The little smiley wave or the angry wave or whatever. Really cool mascot. Um,
I thought their
Big,
field looked amazing on
yeah.
TV.
That's definitely turf, right? That's got to be
Yeah,
turf.
it just looked
Um,
really nice and clean and well
yeah.
painted. It was a sight to see.
Yeah, it looked like Judkins, though, was not liking it. Like, I know sometimes that turf can be really hard underneath if it's not
Mhm.
padded correctly. Every time he got tackled, man, he'd go to the sideline. And he just reminded me of this one guy I used to play football with. His name was JJ. And every time you'd tackle JJ at practice, he'd get pissed off. But JJ was a beast, and you couldn't tackle him up high, so you'd have to tackle him low, and he'd get really mad because it would hurt, like, every play or whatever, and Judkins just reminded me of that today, is every time he got tackled, man, it just seems like he'd be like, "Damn, man, shit," you know? Like, "Ouch," like,
Yeah.
he'd call himself out, and he'd be on the sideline grimacing, and it just reminded me of some high school football days, but pretty funny stuff. Um, yeah, I'm not super impressed with Ole Miss at this point. I don't think especially with Tulane missing their starting quarterback. I mean, they did not get good quarterback play today. Did you get to watch this one at all? What did you think?
Um, I did. I saw a little bit of it. And I watched the end where, you know, just kind of out of nowhere, they decided to kick a field goal. Um,
Yeah, that was nice.
yeah, helps
Thank you,
you out a
Lane.
little bit.
I
Helps
think
you out a little
Lane.
bit there.
I think Lane. Well, not just Lane. I think there's other coaches too. I think that if you want to make your boosters and stuff happy, then in the big games you do your very best to beat the spread. And I'm pretty sure that Kirby does this. I think Kirby tells all his dudes, don't be betting on them little games and them little teams and stuff. Don't be doing
Yeah.
that. If you're gonna
You
bet
saw
on
they missed
Georgia,
it by half a point this week.
yeah, I mean, they do it all the time. I think Georgia. So now that makes them, I think, 1-7 their last 8 games where the spread was 35 points or more or something like that. Um, Georgia could beat these teams 100 to nothing. That's not the goal. That's not the goal. You're not. It'd be like going to the driving range to practice your golf swing and hitting nothing but your driver for 120 balls. You're missing the point. It's you're practicing all your clubs. You're hitting at targets, um, and you're trying to get something accomplished. It's not just a bomb fest. Um, and I that's kind of my thoughts on it, and that's why I don't always worry about teams scoring in the fourth quarter, against these little teams, and why I question, teams like Oregon beating somebody 83-7 and ripping people's ears off. Um, that that's totally uncalled for. Um, but anyway, it's I don't know, long road to hoe for Ole Miss, and gosh, last year, we'll keep touching on this, I'm sure, but the SEC East was the better division last year. Are they the better division again this year? I mean, asking for a friend here because the SEC just doesn't look very good to me this year. I
Just
don't
as a
see a whole
whole,
lot
I
of.
mean, Missouri looked like
I,
butt today. Tennessee didn't. I mean, they won by like 17. They didn't
Not
show
very
me the
impressive.
offense.
Did
Yeah,
we
they
talk
didn't show
about
me the
that one?
offense that we're used to seeing. We didn't. No. Um,
Shit, I
but
missed it. Oh,
yeah,
they played
over Austin
Austin
P.
Peay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they looked like poo poo. It was pretty bad. For a Tennessee team though, you got to score. I mean, against Austin P, I'm not saying run the freaking score up, but you got to be able to get your second string quarterback in.
Let's go
Um,
look at this box score. We got to see what's up here. Continue, but I just want to pull this up.
yeah, I mean, uh, 228 pass yards, 228 rushing yards, balance, but I don't know what happened.
What the hell
If
happened?
it was
That's weird.
turnovers
Let's go
or what.
look.
I
Let's
didn't
see.
watch a lick of this game. I think it was on ESPN Plus maybe. But
Uh, so yeah, no, I mean,
they had
shit, dude.
did they have two
Tennessee only had one.
turnovers?
Yeah, so what is this
Austin P did.
mascot right here? What is
Um
that? The Governors. Ah, yes, the
is that what it
Governors.
is?
Yes,
Ah,
it's the Volunteers and the Governors.
it's
Uh,
like the Monopoly man.
it does. It's like a mean one, like a devil
Yeah.
one. One
Then
turnover for
Monopoly man
Tennessee.
went to New Orleans and became a voodoo witch doctor.
Yeah, voodoo Monopoly guy. I guess he's missing the monocle though. That would have been a nice touch. What are they thinking? Um, and then you know what would be cool? Oh man, they should have had the monocle on there, and then whenever they get like an interception or something, you get to wear the golden monocle. That would have been so good, dude. Gosh. All right, Austin PP, give us a call. Um, yeah, so they turned the ball over twice. Tennessee only turned it over once. Who threw the passing touchdowns? Because okay, so he did have 2 touchdowns. So they
Yeah,
didn't even
yeah.
get the backups in against Austin PP either. So it
It
was
looks
13 to
like
13 to 6 at halftime. What the
yeah.
hell, dude?
I mean, it looks like I mean, based on the fact that Austin P scored 3 in the first and 3 in the second quarters, you know, they put together some drives and just they weren't able to finish, but they took some time off the clock, kind of played possession, and kept the ball out of Tennessee's hands and that's what kept the score down. It's just based off of looking at the numbers here, but
Well,
um,
and I'm gonna say this too. Um, I don't know how many rushing attempts they Austin P had, but this looks like more of the same as last year to me also. Tennessee was not bad against the run last year. And
yeah.
I think they're pretty decent against the run again this year, but had a very, very leaky secondary. And it looks like more of the same, man. Looks like more of the same. Um, damn
Yeah.
balls, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? If you just had a decent defense, golly, there's no telling what the team could do. Especially this year, whenever everybody's down, this would just be the time
Yeah,
Who else is going to step up? Georgia looked pretty good. We're going to get back. We're going to get to Georgia. I don't think Alabama looked bad, like horrible, but we see their weaknesses, obviously. Um, who the hell else is going to step up in the SEC, man? This is the perfect time for somebody to step up, especially in the West. Imagine somebody just coming out of nowhere, and
yeah.
this would be the year to do it. Cal just scored a touchdown and just went up on Auburn 10-7, second
That was
quarter with
after a turnover. I don't know if you saw that, but
I did not see the turnover,
running
no.
back got hurt and fumbled the ball in the process, got hit too hard, and thought if he's going to go down, he would need to brace himself. So he just dropped the ball, and so it was pretty weird. But
And
he went out.
we gotta teach one of the kids to produce the show so that I can watch TV and do
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
Because I'm like ADD, and so having 3 or 4 screen or really, if you think about it, there's 3, 4, 5 screens here. I my eyes don't know where to go. I'm like Bud Elliott on crack. My eyes are just screen, 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 uh, back and forth. So, um, I'm trying to keep up with the games, but it hadn't been super successful doing that. So, I appreciate you helping me out. Um, all right, let's move on up. We got some of these I kind of got out of order a little bit. Um, Northwestern won. Whoa, Northwestern got a win.
yep.
That's
That's going to
weird.
be their only win for the year.
I wonder. Oh, man, yeah, that's UTEP must be really, 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 really bad.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they are. I saw this on College Game Day today. Stanford Steve bet on this one, and he was just like crossing his fingers, But he was saying like this is literally their only chance to win a game, like
yeah,
point blank. Period. I'm betting on them today. I won't bet on them for the rest of the year. It's it. This is it. This is their Super Bowl.
yep, yep.
So
Um, and I see Josh Pate right here on here, and it just reminded me of something. So, and we'll get back on topic, but these shows that you get us after dark, folks, we're just kind of all over the place. And if you're watching the video right now, give us a like, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Okay, I'm not gonna ask you again. Just let's be adults about this, and let's just do the things that we need to do. Um, but I see Josh Pate right here. And you know what this weasel did? I love Josh Pate, so I say weasel as in, I jab my friends and everything too. So while he's not a friend, I just want to preface it with that. But two 2 months before the season started, he talked about how Duke had a good chance to beat Clemson, and then the day before the game, he takes Clemson and all the points and says they're going to blow them out. Then when Duke wins, he goes back on the next show and plays said clip from 2 months ago. So, like either way, no matter what happened in that game, he was set up to he was set up with a clip that's showing he was right.
yeah,
And I just thought that was the craziest thing, man. It's like I I don't know. And Uncle Lou called it. If I'm sure some of you have heard of Uncle Lou on YouTube. Um, another fellow college football commentator, which is an acquired taste. But he called it. He said he'll be on his show pulling some clip from 3 months ago, saying, you know, that he called it, and lo and behold, he did exactly that, and thought that was really, really kind of kind of lame. Um, but whatever, man. Look, we're gonna ride or die with our picks on this show, man. We ain't no shame in our game. We don't have to be perfect.
bro.
Um,
I don't know if it's from not having producers on a show or what, but like I can't even think of what my picks were 2 months ago, and if I doubled back on it or not. Like
right,
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't be able to. I'm not smart enough to go back that far, honestly.
right,
If I didn't tell you a week before what was going to happen or right before the game, then I don't really know.
yeah, yeah. Well, he does it very premeditated because he does it all the time, and he does have producers and things, and he has the power of the great eye behind him, CBS. So that tends to help for sure. Um, we talked a little bit about the Cyhawk um, game, but let's talk about it a little bit more here. Um, Iowa does end up winning 20-13. Oh man, I thought maybe at the end it was going to be a chance for Iowa State to come back and cover. The spread was 3.5 on that one, so
Yeah.
um, I was hoping maybe for a little comeback. It was looking good at the very beginning of the game, then it didn't look good at all for a while, and then it kind of looked like maybe there was a chance at the end, but too little, too late. Let's pull up the box score on that one real quick. Um,
Man, I was so close to fighting you on this one, but I was like, man, uh, I don't really know. I don't really know what this game's going to turn out. I felt like Iowa would win it by more than 3. I really did, but I just I didn't know what we had in Iowa State. Their defense kind of
yeah,
held up a little bit better than I thought it would, honestly, but
yeah.
just couldn't get anything really on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Iowa's a really really good defense, and
Hmm.
if you're doubting their defense, then you don't know ball because year in and year out, I don't know where they're finding these guys out of the cornfields, but um, they're uh, they're 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 doing something right, chucking some corn or something. I don't know because they they don't have much of a pulse on offense. Cade McNamara didn't play well. He just, I mean, you see, he's 12 for 22, 123 yards. He completed 12 passes, the whole game. This was a 60-minute game, as far as I know, and he only got 12 passes completed. So that's not good. That's about as sloppy as some marinara, honestly, for the old Cade
Man,
Marinara.
that
Um,
to be able to go out and win a ball game with 9 first downs, um, 235 total yards for the game, and you win by a touchdown. I mean, yeah, I'd say they got a pretty damn good defense, man. Um, eh, held them under 100 yards rushing. Um, yeah, this was Iowa State's really bad. What is Matt Campbell still doing there? You blew it, man. You had your chance to get out of there and get you a real job, and it's just never going to happen at Iowa State. It's never going to happen. And I think this is like 6 in a row that Iowa's won at Iowa State. Um, so starting to run away with that series, whereas the games are always close. Iowa plays everybody close. It's not just Iowa State. So um, this does put Iowa behind on their um, on Ferentz Jr.'s allowance meter,
yeah,
which I swear I'm going to create. They're averaging below 25 points a game now,
yeah,
and for Ferentz Jr. to get his allowance from Dad, going to have to get 25 or more. So, Junior, clean your room and Uh, figure out the offense, please, for the rest of the world, so we can maybe watch Iowa be really good instead of just good on one side of the ball. Thanks. Um, all right, let's keep it moving there. I felt like Ferris Jr. needed to hear that.
yeah.
So,
It'll get to him. It'll get to him.
well, he listens. He does. He listens to the show. This is what everyone listens to when they shut corn out there in Iowa. Um, really good corn shucking show that we've got here. Um, you got to be careful saying that one too fast. Uh, Kentucky beat Eastern Kentucky 28-17. What's going on with Kentucky, man? I
This is
th-
another one of those SEC, just piss poor performances. Um, gosh, I think I don't remember what the spread was on this game, but it was a lot
it
more than
was
11.
35.5, bro. Right here on the 35 and a
Oh, okay,
half,
I see
bro.
it. Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
we
and
thought,
what happened? Because look at this. They ran the ball for 171 yards and ran for 243. In Kentucky standards, that's like a 700-yard damn game.
yeah,
You know
yeah.
what happened? I didn't watch, so I'm
I don't know.
literally I'm gonna have to go
Sometimes
back
you're
and
just kind
watch
of
this
shooting in the
one.
dark if you don't watch it. But
Yeah,
based on the numbers, it's like, man, did they play for a half and then take Leary out? What happened?
Well, he was the only one with passing
Yeah.
stats for
Yeah.
Kentucky. Um, let's look at the turnovers and stuff. Uh, they did turn the ball over once, um, and they threw an interception. So they fumbled and recovered it. So that doesn't count. But they did throw a pick. Um, was that his interception? It sure was. So
Yep.
Leary was 23 of 37, 243 yards, 4 tutties, and 1 interception. Um,
Not
I
bad.
did, and oh, the one. Okay, and he had one for 56 right there. So there's a good chunk of the yards right there on one play. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. We're gonna have to go back and look at this one, and I think whenever we do, we should do a show at some point or add it into a segment where, um, you know, on second look or something like that, and we'll go back and watch film on some of these because it's impossible to watch every game. All you college football fans know that you can't watch every single snap of every single game. You got to pick the key matchups, and obviously Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky weren't one, but it does raise concern whenever I see something like that because 28 points against Eastern Kentucky is not good. And Kentucky didn't score a whole lot of points against Ball State last week either. Um, Now, Ball State played keep away with Kentucky, so that was a little different situation, but um, which Ball State is very good at, and we'll get to them shortly. Clemson, Charleston Southern. This one was way too interesting for like a quarter, and Dabo was like breathing real heavy and super pissed off, um, and was thumping people on top of the head with his Bible on the sideline. And then all of a sudden, took off. Clemson took off on them 66-17. I think outscored them by like 50 points or something like that, 52 points or something, or scored 52-0, I guess you would say, to end the game. Um, so did end up taking care of business. Hey, Georgia Tech got a win. Oh wait, I got
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
got
say.
clap. Good job, Georgia Tech. You got the soundboard bite today. The nerds
Hey.
from Atlanta scored 48 points on something called South Carolina State. So sorry that the nerds had to do it to you, South Carolina State, 48-13. They are the winners there. Utah Baylor. We talked about
Utah
this
let
one.
me down, man.
Let you down, and not so easy, did they?
No,
What?
7.5 point spread.
Oh, 7 in the nasty hook.
And look, it went down to 7, but we locked
Of
it
course
in
it
at
did.
7.5. Holy cow.
And that's the cross that we have to bear for you listeners there because we have to
Yeah.
get you our picks early enough um, to where you can watch our video and go bet on it like you should. Disclaimer: we're not telling you to bet. You're betting under your own power. If you got any betting problems, 1-800-GAMBLER. Um, so 20-13, Utah beats Baylor. This game was back and forth. Um, Pretty much the whole last part of well, not really back and forth. Utah came back to win this one in the fourth quarter, I guess is what I should say. Um, Took some late heroics, some nice rushes by Nate Johnson. And looky there, Nate Johnson ended up 6 of 7 for 82 yards. Bryson Barnes, sir, the hell are you doing? 6 of 19, 71 yards and a pick. Where did the Bryson Barnes go that I saw against Florida? I don't know. If anybody sees him, let me know. But gosh, that was not good. Not a good showing from Bryson Barnes. What do you think about this game, Mason?
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of had to let the freshman take over the game. To me, that was the deciding factor in this game because um, Utah didn't lead the whole game, if I'm not mistaken, up until the very end. So this was it was a well played strategy, honestly. And you got to give them some credit for making the decision and trusting the freshman, the true freshman, to be able to come in and really win them this ball game. I mean, Baylor showed a lot of improvement from last week. I thought that this game would have been won by about 14 points. It was at Baylor, so I think that having the game in Waco kind of helped them out a bit. Gave them some home field advantage. But after the embarrassing loss last week to Texas State, I did expect a bounce back from Dave Aranda's team. We got it, but I thought that Utah was just a much better team, and they're hurting without having Cam Rising and all.
Dude, they
For
need him
sure.
back. They need him back
Yeah.
as soon as possible. AF. Um,
Yeah.
extra emphasis AF because
Yeah.
it's bad, man. It's bad. They need that leader on the offense. You can tell they're missing their leader. Um, on a lighter note, Jaquindon Jackson, 19 rushes for 129 yards, hit a 44-yarder. He had several guys that contributed rushing, including Barnes. He did have 8 rushes. I think a couple of those might have been sacks, but 20 first downs to Baylor's 14. Um, let's look at the total yards here. Total net yards 377 versus 339. Utah edges out Baylor on total yards. 224 yards rushing total for Utah. So that's really your game winner right there. And that's the uncharacteristic part of what we saw from Baylor today. What was, gosh, it was very obvious that Utah was one dimensional and they still couldn't stop the rushing. Now there was 47 rushing plays, dude. 47 rushing plays that Utah ran.
Mm.
Um, Gosh, who was it we just heard only ran 50 something plays? Iowa only ran 50 something plays. Utah ran 47 rushing plays alone, and 4.8 at that many rushes. That's pretty incredible. Um, Utah survives, man. They keep their hopes alive. Hopefully, Cam Rising's going to be able to make his way back next week. Um, I think they've found a little something in Nate Johnson. They're probably going to need to figure out a way to get him in the game and get him the ball. He definitely seems to be a playmaker. Just seems to be a little, green in the horn, right?
That's right.
So I think that they've got something there. Just need to add their cam back. They need their cam back for sure. Um, Ohio State edges out Youngstown State. Edges out. They they beat them 35-7. This was actually pretty close in the first part of the game, and Youngstown State showed some attitude at first, and gave them a little bit of lip out there, um, and then Ohio State put them in a headlock and gave him a knuckle sandwich. Kyle McCord's 14 of 20, 258 yards, three touchdowns. Devin Brown 7 of 13, 101 yards. I think we know who the quarterback is now. I don't think that there's much question anymore. I think it's Kyle McCord. I think he gives you your best chance. Seems the most poised. Um, what did you get to see this one at all? And what did you gather? And I will add this in too. I'm going to add this in because this is something that I was thinking about this week. Or actually, what did you think about the game? Did you get to watch it? And then I'll kind of close it out on Ohio State. I do have something that I've kind of noticed with them.
I just saw highlights on this one. Kind of as the game was unfolding, but it seems like Ohio State's defense is pretty good. They did give up that touchdown early, but kind of hung in there. I think that Ohio State has a really good defense for once. Um, are
Yeah.
they at Michigan's level? Maybe. They've got the experience, I think, and this is it's gonna make for an interesting game down the road. But for now, I think that their offense is still kind of loading. Um, I don't think that they're where they're going to be when they come and face Penn State eventually, and then have to face Michigan at the end of the year. So I think that they're still working out the kinks on offense, but when you got dudes like Marvin Harrison who can get 10 yards open, I mean, it makes it pretty easy. And those poor Penguins for Youngstown State, thought they had a chance, but the Buckeyes were just too strong. So
Yeah, the
they
nuts.
pummeled those Penguins.
The penguin ate the nut and didn't realize it was poisonous and
Well,
died in the second quarter. Um,
sometimes bag,
yeah,
and that's what happens.
Ohio man's nuts are poisonous. That's for the record. Um, yeah, I mean, so here's my thing with Ohio State. I think that they're changing their. I think they're trying to change their persona a little bit. I think they understand. I made a comment whenever we did our predictions on the Big Ten, and the more I thought about what I've said, the more I think it was kind of like a gut thing that I said. But now I think about it, and I'm like, it makes a lot of sense to me. Michigan is built to win the Big Ten. Ohio State is built to win a championship, and those are two different things. But they can't win a championship unless they get over the Michigan hurdle, right? And in the case of Ohio State, they got around Michigan, not over them last
Yeah.
year by making the playoffs without having to beat them. I don't know if that's going to happen this year. I doubt it. From the looks of things, especially now with it looks like Texas is going to have a pretty good path, I would think, um, and probably a game to spare as well. You know, um, but I think Ohio State's trying to change their identity a little bit. The first couple of weeks that we've seen them, I've seen Ohio State line up in some I formation. I've seen them line up in a lot of power run game sets.
Yeah.
Two tight ends on the field. Um, there's there's some changes going on, and I think this is Ryan Day's attempt to get this team ready for the slugfest that ends the year in the game every year. Um, I think that he knows that physically this team is going to have a certain type of identity to be able to get over that mountain. And I think he might be right. I think he might be onto something. And I didn't like what I saw from Ohio State at first, but now I think I understand what's going on here. And these games are the perfect games to try to do this stuff and learn this stuff. It's just like I talked about. It's like going to the driving range. You don't just hit one club, you hit your bag and you practice and you try to hit at targets and you try to zero in and you work on certain things in your game. And I think that's what they've been doing. And I think they're getting ready for a really physical matchup at the end of the year. And I think they know that if they don't beat Penn State and Michigan, then the rest of it's really a moot point this year, I believe, because unless they each beat each other, and you can't count on the other two to do that, so you got to go in there ready to win both of those games, and I think that's what Ryan Day's doing right now, trying to make this a more physical team.
Yeah. And it kind of goes into what I was saying. To me, it's maybe they're setting up for to be a more physical team and a more physical offense specifically. But they could also just be saying like, we just need a little bit more time to get this passing game figured out, and specifically at quarterback. Um, with that offensive line, I just don't expect them to be able to run the ball against a Penn State or a Michigan as well. So, but maybe down the road they're able to kind
They're
of
going to
buy
have
some
to, though.
time
Yeah,
essentially, and find a way to set up some play action down the road. But I still think Ohio State's a team that can really win the national championship. I mean, obviously, talent wise, they are. I wonder if they're going to be able to get it figured out in time on that offensive side of the ball. They've got to be a top five offense, I think, in order to do it. I think that they've got to be the Ohio State that we've been used to seeing on offense and being very efficient and very elite. They can mix in some run stuff too. That's perfectly fine. But efficiency wise, they need to be a top five offense because with the improvements that the defense made, I'm not like considering them to be a top 10 or anything. So,
Yeah.
but we'll see. I mean, so far so good. It's tough to say that they won't be at this point, but once they get to some tougher matches, we'll get a better idea of who Ohio State really is.
Yeah. I think when they get to those games, though, I think the point is I'm not saying they're going to go all power run game. My point is they're
Yeah,
going to have to be able to run the ball to win that game and close out a game against Michigan. You're going to have to be able to run the ball. And I think they're working on that right now and trying to get ready for that stuff. They know they can throw the ball. I mean, they took Kyle McCord out today to let Devin Brown in, and Kyle McCord was lighting it up. And let's see what Marvin Harrison had today. 7 receptions, 160 yards, and 2 TDs, and they pulled him too. Igbuka had 94 yards on 5 catches. I think they're there with the passing offense, and I think they're fine with what they've got. I think they're working on something else to put in their arsenal, and I think this defense is the best defense they've had in a while. I don't think it's top 5, but I think it's top 20 for sure.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I think that's serviceable. If they have a top 5 offense, like you said, and a top 20 defense, it's going to be
yeah.
really hard to beat them at the end of the year.
But I'm
Because
still not. I'm still holding out because of from what I've seen so far. I mean, I still think talent wise, this could be a top 10 defense.
yeah, it's
So
possible.
I'm kind of waiting to see. I'm not holding out. Thinking that they will be necessarily, but I do kind of feel like they could. They have potential at least to be that top 5, top 10 at least defense. This year from an efficiency standpoint. But got to figure it all out, put the pieces together. And I don't think that we've really seen their secondary get tested yet. So that's really
Yeah,
where I'm kind of trying to figure things out is on the back end, if they've
I
got it
am
all
slightly
figured
worried
out.
about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slightly worried about those secondary as well. So, um, definitely definitely yet to be seen on that. Purdue squeaks one out over Virginia Tech, 24-17. I'm not going to go into that one a whole lot. Actually, I do want to see one thing though. Um, let's look at one thing right here. Hudson Card, because uh he was on
Yeah.
your team, wasn't he?
Played well, just couldn't get
No
the touchdowns. You know,
no tutties. What the hell? No
23 of
tutties.
34 isn't too bad. 248 yards, not bad. Just they just ran the ball in. Kind of
Wow,
interesting.
hell
The game didn't go quite as I expected. I was expecting um, Virginia Tech to be up and, for Purdue to be coming back late. And I guess it was tied. So they tied going into the fourth quarter and they ended up winning it late. But I thought that Virginia Tech would be ahead. And I really thought that Virginia Tech would win this game. And I thought that Purdue would have to just be kind of airing it out. And I would get, a lot of passing yards that way, but it didn't work out. I also had one of their receivers that did absolutely nothing, so that was bad. But
lovely.
yeah, I had this week on the fantasy, I had a few players that just like absolutely blew it out, like 30 plus points for all 3 of them, and then you know like one guy scored like 11, and then I had one guy score 0. I think it was actually the Purdue receiver scored 0. So that's what really screwed me up. So another middle
Yeah,
of the pack lineup.
that'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. A lot of good and then a lot of bad. Get you a mediocre lineup, huh? Um,
Yep.
well, what you gonna do? Um, all right. Nebraska uh, loses to Colorado, and I say they lose to Colorado because they did a really good job losing, um, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying I guess they would have necessarily won, but this should have been a good game right here. Us college football fans, we got cheated out of a good one right here, man. And some people don't like to, excuse me, don't like to call out these guys that play college football. Oh, they're kids, blah blah blah. No, no, they're making money. Jeff Sims is a dumpster fire. You heard it here, probably not first, but you heard it here again. Um, It was bad, man. Jeff Sims getting hit in the hands with snaps and can't do nothing with them. I don't understand what was going on. We talked about it before the game. The whole reason I didn't want to bet on this is because of Jeff Sims and the fact that he was a turnover machine. Well, I said it in the halftime show today. He turned from a turnover machine into a turnover factory, assembly line style, pumping them out. Four turnovers that he was responsible for, at least three. It might have been four. Um, just really bad, man. What do you got to do to get benched at this point? Should have benched him earlier in the game. I felt like because he was costing his team. On the other hand of that, Colorado continues to you know shake college football right on up, and they get another win. Already surpassed their win total from last year, which was one. Um, I the same things loom, the same issues loom for me that loomed last week for Colorado. I'm all in for the entertainment factor, and I'm here for these wins and these uh, high profile games and all that. But Colorado has a hard time running the ball and stopping the run, and uh, so I'm just waiting for somebody to be able to exploit it and actually score some points off of it. Nebraska ran for 222 yards on Colorado and gave up on the run sometimes, like too quickly in drives. I felt like at certain points, um, but then again, they also were driving and then fumbled or driving and then threw a pick. Um, so only 341 total yards. Looks like Colorado played good defense, but honestly, this game was back and forth. It's just Nebraska literally stepping on a rake over and over that keeps jumping up and smacking them in the face. Um, were you beating your head against the wall on this one too?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pay too close attention to it, but this is one that I had Nebraska actually picked to win this game. So I was kind of behind on the whole, Colorado is actually really good sort of train. I kind of I kind of stayed back and thought I'd find a better one and a quicker train, but that one apparently passed me by, and just kind of missed that opportunity. But um, I still think Nebraska is a pretty good team. It's just the quarterback situation that is holding this team down. The anchor of the team is broken or something. I mean, that nothing's
Yeah.
happening here. So they got to figure something out. You can see there that they did put in their other two quarterbacks. They weren't doing anything either. Looks like Herberg did have a touchdown at least, but
Yeah.
um, nothing
Too
nothing
little, too
really
late.
working there. Yeah, for sure. But maybe they go back to the drawing board and figure out better ways to utilize Sims where he doesn't have to take a shotgun. Maybe he goes under center from now on. But man, he just looked like watching the highlights. It looked like the ball hit him in the hands, fell to the turf, and he wanted to try to pick it up and run with it
Yeah, man.
or try to
Fall
make a
on that
play.
bitch.
Like just fall
God,
on it. Especially like,
twice.
okay, it happened once. Okay, somebody on the sideline had to tell him, like, look, dude, just fall on the ball. Don't try to be
Yeah.
a hero. Just fall on it. And then he went
You
out and did
already
it again.
fumbled it. You're not gonna pick it up and run it 50 yards for a touchdown after that, man. I mean,
Yeah.
like, what is the actual damn deal with that? And I do you think he was, like, making, like, a business decision? Like, he didn't wanna jump on it and get smushed?
It didn't
Like
look like it because he had plenty of time to fall on the ball and curl up and turn his back to the defense, to where he, probably wouldn't get hurt.
right. That's kinda what I
Um,
thought too. I mean, I didn't think he was being like a P about it or something, but I
yeah.
don't know, man. That was just bizarre. Um, really, really bizarre. Kinda like the Clemson situation the other day. It was just like every time every time they got ready to do something, man, they just pulled their gun out of their pocket and shot their big toe off. One toe at a time. And uh Shadur was 31 of 42, 393 yards, 2 tutties, 0 picks. He is securely in the lead as far as I'm concerned with the Heisman. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. Two games in, and he's already over 900 yards. So, um,
Unbelievable.
at this pace, he'll have what 30? No, more than that.
No, it'd be
He'll
like
have 5,400 yards. So,
it would
uh,
be Joe Burrow level.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
more than Joe Burrow.
that's just in the regular season. So,
Yeah.
heaven forbid, Colorado make the playoffs and they go, they have 14 games or something. But no, that certainly won't happen, right? Right? I don't know.
I'm
Um,
starting to wonder myself. I don't know,
it's
man.
it's a crazy season, man. This is I love it. I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm here for it, but um I'm not counting out Colorado. Again, I think Vegas may still even be behind on Colorado, so I'm anxious to see what their next game, what the spread is on it, because I might be taking Colorado just kind of as a principle at this point.
They
Um,
got it correct next week. Vegas lost their ass on this bet this week. I mean,
yeah, twice
they
in a
really
row.
did. Yeah, yeah. They lost their ass. Xavier Weaver is a beast, in case anybody didn't know. Um, he
Yeah, he
had
did.
10,
He went
10
off.
receptions, 170 yards, one touchdown. He's a bad dude, man. He's a bad dude. Um, let's see, where is oh,
Hunter.
Travis Hunter? He had 3 catches, 73 yards, and I think he had 4 or 5 solo tackles.
Yeah.
So,
7 targets. So I did see a case where they missed. Shador missed on a touchdown throw because he was eyeballing Hunter, and it got him into trouble because he wasn't open. He was like double covered, and he ended up having to throw the ball away because of it. They brought pressure. He didn't have time, and so you just, that's just like me nitpicking, but you can't just try to get the ball to Travis Hunter, because you're best buds and whatnot. So like to see him kind of target the open receiver, because he did have another receiver open, and not be you can't follow one receiver with your eyes like that, because it's just not going to work out. But I think he was trying to get Hunter a touchdown for the day, and
yeah.
ended up costing him 4 points.
Well, eventually, Colorado, I think, is going to run into a team that has a decent secondary, and they're going to make them one-dimensional. They ran the ball 33 times, averaged 1.7 yards per carry. That's 57 yards total. It's eventually going to catch up with them, but I don't really know when or whatever. So we'll take it week by week with Colorado. I'm not, there's obviously chinks in this armor. They're not gonna keep winning every single game. But Shador saying, think about if we didn't have Colorado and the excitement they brought this year. It's really made college football a lot more fun this year to have a team come out of nowhere like this early on, that was just wretched last year with one win. So really has made this year a lot of fun. So I do appreciate Deion, and the Buffs and all the Sanders, I really do, because it's made it a lot of fun. But eventually there is going to be a team that matches up with them. And I thought it was Nebraska for a little bit early on in the game, and then I realized, oh wait, that's right, Jeff Sims is the quarterback. Um, James Madison beat Virginia. I'm not gonna sit here and pick on Virginia a whole lot. They're just like really really bad. Both the teams out of Virginia are real bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the Virginia Cavaliers are just like complete ass. Uh, so yeah, sorry, Virginia fans that don't exist. Um, Penn State does their thing against whatever this thing is right here that I'm pointing at. This blue Delaware bird.
So
Um,
maybe the Delaware Ducks. I don't know.
I don't know. I think they're the Fighting Joe Bidens, something like that.
Maybe the
Um,
Delaware Loons.
yeah, yeah, the blue-haired loons.
Yeah.
um, Georgia beat Ball State 45-3. We both watch this one. We're Georgia fans. Uh, what'd you think, man? I thought Carson Beck looked really good today.
Slow start, yeah. Once again, a slow start, for him. I don't know if he's just still a little bit, kind of working through the jitters. I mean, I'm sure every player has jitters before every game, right? I never played at that level, so I don't know, but I think he's still trying to figure that stuff out, and I'd like to see him stick to the script, play confident early. Um, he still seems a little awkward out there in some ways, but hopefully he's able to iron that out. He looked good towards the end. Didn't
Yeah.
play bad, certainly didn't really make mistakes or anything like that. Um, but just didn't look very loose early on, especially. Um, and I think that the rushing attack right now is just really bad. Um, it's just really bad. They're not getting a push up front. Ball State early on, they were even getting to the quarterback on passing plays, and Georgia's really all season had a really good pass. They've been really good at pass blocking. So, but today it just seemed like it took them a while to get going in that too, and gosh, it's just kind of crazy for an offensive line that probably has 5 NFL, players on it in some capacity, to be getting pushed around by Ball State. I don't really get that.
Yeah.
It's not clicking for me. With that, and I'm nitpicking here, but it just seems like we should be getting more of a push up front. Ernest Green, got his second career start at left tackle, and I saw him missing on some guys, getting beat around the edge. He's got to have better footwork, and really that those first 2 steps are the biggest for an offensive lineman, and he's got to get quicker at that. And keep those hands, and keep the defensive lineman in front of him. But yeah, outside of that, the like I said, the rushing attack is pretty awful. I thought Dylan Bell, a wide receiver for Georgia, had the best run of the day.
Yeah, he did.
And it
Maybe
might
he
be,
needs to play running back.
dude. I don't know if I said it on the show or not, but I've been saying that Dylan Bell, with the issues that have happened on Georgia's in Georgia's running back room, that Dylan Bell should be playing running back. He has the size. He's like 6'1", like 220. He's like a perfect size for a freaking running back. So,
Yeah, and I'm not
um,
in love with his hands either. I mean, he drops
yeah.
balls. He dropped a ball or two today, um,
Hmm.
and I felt like he looked really natural, and his vision was, I thought, above average. So I feel like this team. It seems like every time we run it outside, we get a big gain, but
Yeah.
we can't run anything up the middle at all. Um, can't get a push. Now, I've seen us in 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s already this year be able to get that, which has been a problem for Georgia in the past. I've seen us in 1-yard situations get that this year, and I like that. Um, but I feel like the some of the downs that we ran the ball on didn't make sense. I feel like we're really predictable on 2nd down whenever we don't have, don't stay on schedule. I feel like we're pretty predictable, trying to run the ball up the middle. And I don't know how much of that is, this is what we're doing today, and that's final type of thing, with the coaching staff. Um, but with all that being said, I saw that with Carson Beck as well. I saw some, uh, mm, I guess, jitters, stiffness, just overall not playing loose at first. But by the end of the game, it really did seem like he was getting pretty comfortable out there, and it seemed like everybody was having fun in that 2nd quarter. And that's the first time I feel like I've seen this Georgia team play this year, and it looked like they were having fun out there on the field. So, um, I liked what I saw from Georgia. I thought there was a lot of growth today. Um, I don't know that the plan was to grind the ball. I mean, they averaged 3.5 yards a carry, which is not good. I mean, that's not the goal, but it ain't 1.7 yards a carry like, Colorado or something. I mean, it's I wouldn't say that's serviceable. Like I said, that's not the goal. 28 attempts, 99 yards is 3.5 yards a carry, but 28 attempts is not a ton. And we had 61 total plays, so we threw the ball more than we ran it. Um, I think this offense for Georgia is just going to look a lot different this year. I think it's going to be um, I think they're gonna strike quickly, kinda like they did in the second quarter. All of a sudden, it was 31 points scored in the second quarter, and I think that's how this team is gonna be. I thought the scoring was a little more consistent last year throughout the game. Um, I think this team is able to score in bunches on you, and I think we're gonna see a decent amount of, 3 and outs and some stalled drives and things, but I think overall, it's gonna end up being about the same amount of points per game. Uh you know, I don't know. I think it's a different approach. This is a different looking Georgia team. Defense looks fantastic.
Mhm.
Uh, very, very, very happy with the defense. Gave up 224 total yards and 1 field goal in the fourth quarter. Um, I'm feeling really, really good about the defense, and Georgia's got plenty of time to figure out the offensive line situation. Um, do have to go to Auburn here in a couple weeks, and got South Carolina coming up. But I don't foresee uh, I don't foresee either one of those situations being something that Georgia can't handle. Um, but growth, I saw growth. Um, Still looking to get guys back healthy. Georgia's got a lot of guys out. Um, Georgia's got a lot of guys out. So, quiet day for Brock Bowers. Looking for Lad McConkey to come back. I think that's going to help this offense a lot. We all know that McConkey is a catalyst for this offense. So, um, overall, I liked what I saw, and I would have the same takeaway, kind of nitpicky takeaway from what we consider to be the number one team in the country. Um, definitely, definitely thought that was a little bit of an issue, but 8.1 yards per pass is very good. Um, and on 33 attempts, where this ain't Jake Fromm throwing it excuse me, 20 times. This is throwing it 33 times, and we averaged 8.1 per attempt. Um, so definitely different looking than I think what we're used to as Georgia fans, but um, I think something that we can grow into. And like I said, there's plenty of time to for Georgia to figure it out for sure. Makai Muse is a badass too, by the way,
Yep, he is him. He's the guy. So
and he is a walk on. Isn't that
right.
crazy?
Well, and Cash Jones as well. Let's not forget. He was a
That was a
preferred walk
great
on as
catch
well.
today.
He had an amazing catch. He was another one who I'm not sure if I said it on the show or not, but he was the guy who I circled as a threat coming out of the backfield in the passing game. And he's the guy that you want on 3rd and long. In the backfield, and if you got to if you've got coverage down deep and you need to dump it off to somebody, he's the guy that I want. He's shifty. He's very athletic, and once again, Georgia and Kirby Smart have found a way to get a less than recruited recruit in, less heralded recruit in, I guess, and really turn him into a baller. So Makai Muse, Dan Jackson, he's still out there playing. Cash Jones, Lad McConkey, freaking Stetson Bennett. I don't know if I'm a preferred walk on, I think there's really only one school to go to if you want to try to turn it into a pro career, because
Yeah.
that's what Georgia seems to do. So that was just another
Well,
example of it.
Georgia, yeah, Kirby is uh, takes a personal approach to the walk-on program at Georgia and does not mind polishing a diamond in the rough. And Makai Muse, this is his third year in the program at Georgia, and that guy's a little jitterbug, man. Hard to get your hands on him too. It's hard to get low on a guy like that.
Yeah.
Hard to get low on a guy like that, and obviously got some good breakaway speed. That was the first punt return touchdown Georgia had in gosh, what was it? Since 2016
I believe it.
or 2017? Georgia had not had a punt return touchdown in that long, man. Um, Now I'm trying to remember who it was that returned it. It was somebody that, obviously as Georgia fans, we knew pretty well.
Isaiah McKenzie.
No, it was yeah, no, it wasn't McKenzie. It was McCole Hardman. I think it was his freshman year or something like that. Um,
Wow.
yeah, it had been that long. I mean, he's been in the pros winning championships
Yeah.
since then. So, um,
Yeah.
just a little update. It looks like we're pretty much to the end of our scores here and stuff. Um, I do see one more. Wake Forest ended up beating Vanderbilt 36-20. I talked about in the halftime show. Somebody needs to go check Vandy's pulse. They did end up getting on the board and trying to fight a little bit, but Wake Forest takes care of business after the long delay today. And um, I think Vanderbilt's only got two more chances, man, to 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 get their 4 wins for the year, and the opportunity gap is closing. So, um, looking for that, I'm sure. Um, USC is up 49-3 at halftime, dude, on Stanford. Um, Yikes, 49-3 halftime. USC Stanford. Cal is up 10-7 on Auburn. Still got the ball, um, and driving on the Auburn side of the field, looking to score again. And Oklahoma State is winning 16-15 over Arizona State. It's been a good game so far. And Albany, who got tricked into traveling all the way to Hawaii and taking that vacation out there, is beating Hawaii 7-3. Um, yeah, and that's all your scores for this week. What's your biggest takeaways for the week, Mason? I know mine. Mine is I feel I honestly I really did by the end of the Georgia game. I felt really good about Carson Beck. I feel like we got the right guy in the situation there. Uh, JJ McCarthy looked really good again. I think JJ McCarthy's taken a step up. Um, Texas obviously is a big takeaway. Colorado a big takeaway. Texas should win the Big 12 now. No problem. They've got the momentum now. It's going to be the pressure of, you know, going in and out every week, everybody trying to take you out the last, go round in the Big 12. Um, and Alabama is what we thought they were, is what we thought they were.
Um, I just I don't see them being a contender this year, and I don't think they really have anything other than Julian Sayin, who's coming in next year as a quarterback, who will be a true freshman. I mean, are they going to be able to reload enough to build something around him? How many recruits do they lose this year if they lose another couple of games? Um, I think that's my maybe my overreaction is it was fun while it lasted there, Nick Saban, but I think it's pretty much over at this point. You never know; they could make it to the SEC championship, sneak up and get Georgia, find their way in the playoffs, but I don't see that happening. I don't think that they're that type of team this year. I don't think they're really built to beat Georgia. But outside of that, kudos to Texas for doing what we thought they would do.
Yep.
They're very much a playoff team. I thought Quinn Ewers looked great. Um, he solidified himself in the Heisman race, and I think that they're about to really get some momentum going, and I think they're going to be really tough to stop for the rest of the year. I think that they should be able to finish the year 12-0. After this win, that they should be able to take this, and especially if the freaking receivers could catch the dang ball. Gosh, they would have really had a perfect night had they not had 6 drop passes. So, got to clean that up. But outside of that, we mentioned it earlier. Jimbo Fisher. Speaking of, coaches that are done, this guy. I mean, when was the last time he was even freaking relevant? With
Yeah.
Jameis Winston.
2014. Yeah.
Jameis Winston's had a freaking you know, uh, 10-year career in the NFL. I mean, golly.
It's been since before Kirby Smart was ever even at Georgia. That's how long it's been. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well before. Yeah. So I just think that he's been. I think that he'll go down as the most overrated coach of this decade. The past 10 years. So, but yeah. Anyways, that's what I got. I think Florida State's very much still in it. They're putting a whipping up on whoever it is they're playing, Children of the Poor. But
Mhm.
um, Florida State and Texas might be in the playoffs this year, folks. So keep an eye on them. They're front runners for their conference at this point. And I think USC is kind of that one out of the Pac-12 right now. But yeah. Anyways, it was a great week, and it ended with some excitement there at the end with the primetime game, and I'm gonna keep watching as long as I can stay up and try to take it all in, man.
Yeah, I think I'll polish me off one more beer and uh and watch. I guess probably. Wow, that's gonna take two more beers. Uh, but anyway, we'll polish a couple more off and finish off the games um and soak it in, man, because it was a long day of football. I literally watched football from I had the TV on at 11:20 today because I knew there was a delay, but I sat there and watched even the delay programming and just enjoyed every freaking second of it. So um, we'll we'll go and digest this and think about it, and I know we'll have some more takeaways. And we're going to jump back on here next week, and we will continue breaking them down and get you guys all your shows for the week and see where we're at with all these teams going into week 3, where I know there'll be some exciting matchups. But for Mason and Marcus, thank you so much for tuning in to the First and Long College Football Show. God bless and have a great night.
Thanks. Good night.